Welcome back to The Black Table on TVC. We are live, and of course, you can call into the studio and make your contributions. We're going straight into our hot topic tonight. According to the United Nations, every 10 minutes, a woman is killed. A sobering statistic that underscores the global crisis of gender-based violence. Now, in 2023, Africa bore the highest burden of intimate partner and family-related femicide in the world, with 21,700 women tragically losing their lives. In Nigeria, femicide continues to be an issue that is frequently underreported, normalized, or dismissed. In Nigeria, 401 women reportedly died as a result of sexual and gender-based violence in 2022 alone. According to data from the DOH's Femicide dashboard, there were 135 femicide incidents resulting in 149 deaths in 2024. That's just last year. As of the time of this report, there have been 17 incidents and 19 deaths in 2025. That's this year. Sholola died from injuries inflicted on her by her husband, Kazim Sholola, who poured hot oil on her body and stabbed her in the head in January, Ogun State. Salome Adeidu, killed by Ajayi, who butchered her January 14th in Nasarawa State. Lawal, 20s, dismembered his Islamic cleric, Abdurrahman Bello, suspected boyfriend, February 10th in Ilorin, Kwara State. This is sad. The streets are not safe, and the numbers don't lie. Over 65 women reportedly murdered this year alone, mostly by boyfriends, husbands, or so-called families. At this point, do we start telling women to legally arm themselves? Should firearm ownership be normalized for self-defense in Nigeria, especially for women? Listen to this.
I think that all females should have something to protect themselves.
Maybe something like, okay, pepper sprays, knife, pocket knives, but giving them guns, giving us guns is too extreme.
No offense to women, they can get irrational, sometimes emotional and illogical.
Yeah, I think they should legalize it. I would actually buy one if they do.
A gun is a deadly weapon. You can't play with that. That's a knife.
Sometimes when I walk alone, because I go to work, on my way back, I need to turn, I need to check. If someone is walking too close to me, I need to move. And I don't have things on me. I can't protect myself if someone should kidnap me at that moment.
Yes, especially in Lagos, especially where I live, Aja, under bridge, they should give us guns to walk around that area. It's not safe for us at all.
And, we are really, 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 really the weaker sex. So it wouldn't be bad if we have guns or not. Don't you think?
No, they are too emotional. They will kill everybody. Even they will kill both the innocent ones. People that didn't do them anything. They will shoot you for being a man.
You should give us guns. Please give females guns. We need it.
Because a man did something wrong to them. Please don't.
All right, you can contribute tonight to the show live 020163520013 or 020163520014. I'm going to start with the ladies' man on the black table. What are your thoughts, Moyo? Do you think women should be armed with guns?
This is such a loaded conversation. I think it runs deeper than just giving guns. We have to understand why situations like this even happen in the first place. I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but we do live in a patriarchal society. Let's start with that. Then we need to ask ourselves, why do men think, again, because the statistics speaks for itself. This is not just me postulating, right? Why do men feel like they have a right to women's bodies via rape? Because when it comes to femicide, that's the most extreme form of gender-based violence. So we have to look at the precursor to that. Okay, we're talking about rape. We're talking about men even just beating women, their wives and stuff like that. In many regards, when you hear, oh, a man beat his wife in Nigeria, and even like generally, they say, oh, that's a domestic issue. Let's just let that happen.
Okay.
We've seen situations. We've seen situations like I can't remember her name, the gospel singer who was beat to death by her husband. And it's not the first time, right? It's not the first time that has happened. So it runs deeper than that. It's cultural in a sense, and even in some cases legal. I remember reading somewhere that there was a time where even religiously they would say, oh, a man can discipline his wife. by beating her.
Nah.
No, in some religions. I know what I'm saying. In some religions.
So what you're saying, you support that women should be armed.
I'm not saying it should be armed. I'm saying I don't think they should be armed. I'm saying that we need to sort of peel back some of these things in society that make men think it's okay to beat women or that they have a right to access their bodies with rape. Because again, the thing with rape is that I always tell people that rape it's almost like a power dynamic thing. You know, you feel like, oh, I'm stronger than you. If I want you, you should give yourself to me, right? It's a power play thing, right? And that comes from us believing and saying that, oh, men are the predominant sex or the more powerful sex.
Alpha.
The alpha sex. You understand what I'm saying? And everybody has their strengths, right? You might be able to beat the woman, you know, but she has her strengths in other areas where men lack, you know, more of like the vulnerability and the emotional care and the nurturing energy, right? So it's not like any sex is higher than any other one. And again, I'm not talking from a religious perspective or a cultural perspective. This is just my principles and my views. And
but as a ladies' man, would you want your ladies to be armed?
No, I wouldn't. I want us to all sit around at a table and talk about why men think they can get away with things like this and how we can raise men to not do these things.
I'm gonna pick from some of his points after I hear from you.
You just said something. You ended with raise men. But guess what? Men are not raised.
What are they?
Take note of this. When you were growing up, right? Your parents focus on the ladies, right? Do the dishes, cook the food, sweep the floor. But for the guys, what? Because now we're talking about the real problem behind it, right? It's because from when men start to grow up, right? They don't raise men. They don't tell them to be part of the workforce at home, do domestic chores, do this. You are not to treat a woman this way. You see, that part is what is missing. That's the real.
I understand what you're talking about.
That's why I said picking from where you ended. Right? Now that is the real cause of it. Now
I don't 100%.
Oh no, it is.
I don't agree with you.
Traditionally,
but at the same time, I think there's more to that because I feel society has molded men in such a way that even if you had that type of upbringing whereby your folks insisted that you take care of certain responsibilities, it depends on what page you're on. Because there are a lot of young men who had the right foundation, you know, raised by great parents. They give them everything. They teach them what it means to be accountable, responsibility, what not to do and what to do at certain times and everything. And a lot of times, there are certain men who step out of all of that, all that home training, all that upbringing, step out of it, and then they do the most ugly and the most ridiculous things.
You know, we've had
they learned that from somewhere.
No, but here's the thing.
That's the thing.
There was something Deck has said this on the show before about the boy child. When it comes to raising the boy child, like you said, it's a patriarchal society. So there's this notion that women need to be raised on how to treat men and how to handle men. Men are not being raised that way.
They're not.
That's true.
Men are just tossed into the wild and be like, you're a man. It's your world.
We learn from what we see. You get me? We learn from what we see. You see, most of these things, you talk about traditional, how it has been, the patriarchy. Listen, they were taught you can only educate someone based on the knowledge you have on something, right? So from their point of view, it has always been like that. Women are the weakest sex. Women, they even take a quote from the Bible and turn it to suit them and say they should be submissive. After all, the Bible says you should be submissive. In the first place, that verse even has nothing to do with men. But let's not even go into that, right? So they are taught that women are meant. Oh yeah, that's the truth. We could dive into that. But you see, men have been taught that they are the alphas. You know, women should be submissive. They are in charge of the house. Whatever they say goes. You see, they've never taught them how to be men.
True.
So we just learn.
So what does it mean to be a man in today's world? Because
in today's world,
to
be a man, biblically, right, means the guardian over your household.
Your household,
yes. Okay. If you are a guardian, you don't hurt people.
You protect.
You protect. Do you understand?
Word.
So that's where we're missing it. So that in itself is the real issue.
I'm going to write that down.
There's something
I'm going to write that down.
I like
I'm going to write that down. That's
I
deep.
like what you said, that you don't hurt. But then there's the notion that hurt people hurt people. So
Exactly.
some men have been hurt.
Yes.
I don't want to take that away from some men. Some men
of
have
course.
been abused.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And they transfer that aggression, not to justify it.
Yeah.
And women take the brunt of most of this abuse.
Yes.
You get where I'm coming from? So now the question, long story is, how do we protect our women? The suggestion now is, should we
Really
let
let
them be
guns.
armed?
See,
No, you
What
can't.
effect do you think it would have if we arm women? Let me start with Olamide first of all.
Okay.
Olamide, what effect do you think it will have if we arm our women?
I do know that road rage is something I'll be worried about. So when I'm driving and I see a woman driving next to me, I'll start greeting her before anything, like, hi, hello, hello. So you see,
Yeah, they
I
have
think
the most road rage.
I think there's no society in the world that you want to legalize and arm women. And the reason is that both genders were different. I will be rational about certain choices, certain decisions. But I'm not saying women are not rational. In fact, there are a lot of women who are very rational, but there are also a lot of women who are very spontaneous in reaction. Like, something happens and then they make choices. One of my favorite channels is the crime channel. I watch it a lot. And, I watch this series called...
Women love that channel.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Ooh, I'm going to tell you this.
A lot of times when I'm watching it and then you hear some of the things women do, and for the reasons they do it, I get scared.
Yeah.
Because, they react rather than trying to, deal and resolve
Because
those
they are
things.
emotional
Because they're
beings.
emotional beings.
Can I even say something?
Go
I don't
ahead,
think, I
go
don't think
ahead.
this is even a gender thing. I think everybody's emotional. It's just the way it's expressed.
Oh, no,
right?
no.
What I'm even saying here is, we know men who are hot-headed and they got angry and they came out of the car and shot somebody, right? That's also emotional.
Yeah.
It's just very gangster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So it's not about the gender. You look at America, you can just pop into a gun store and get you a gun.
All right, we have a
Right?
caller from Badagry. Let's hear the caller's contribution. All right, Patrick, welcome to the Black Table, all the way from Badagry. Patrick, what's your contribution to our discussion tonight?
Very much. Yes. Thank you very much. It's very wrong for a man to be beating our wife every time, because it's a very wrong idea. Because, yes, it's very wrong.
Yeah.
Because, yes, I have to at my place every time he likes beating his wife. Why?
All right, Patrick, can I put you on the spot? So you know that this person beats his wife. What have you done to affect the situation? If you know this man beats his wife.
When you intervene, don't say you want to intervene into the matter. If you take it so serious, what's your problem between him and his wife?
Okay.
You see,
Well,
which is very wrong.
all right, thank you so much, Patrick, for your contribution. I'm sure we all agree with Patrick. It is wrong. And can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
As finicky as I am to join the bandwagon and say women should be armed, I've asked myself this question. I have 2 daughters. You have a daughter as well. I don't know. Do you have a daughter?
Yeah.
If your daughter...
When you ask daughters, it doesn't just know.
He just doesn't know yet. Now, okay, check this out.
claim it, yeah.
Not your daughter, your sister,
Yeah.
a cousin, your mother.
I have nieces.
Do you understand? Females in your life.
Yeah.
If a female in your life came to you and said, I just shot somebody, I killed somebody that was trying to hurt me, that was trying to take my life.
Yeah.
Do you understand? How would you feel about that?
Yeah, you
Wouldn't
would.
you? Let me start with you.
First,
In that situation, can you now say, I support women being armed?
I do not support women being armed because, they are emotional. Let's go with statistics, right?
Okay.
Men are logical beings. Women are emotional, right? Most, 90% of the road rages are women.
Women, yeah.
Right? They react on the spot. You could step on them and she pulls out a gun and she shoots for no justification whatsoever. I would never advise it.
Let's even now come down to simpler terms.
Yeah.
In situations whereby, you're in a relationship, you're dating a woman, and then you being a guy, maybe you're friendly, you're open, and then you're just being you, and then she sees a situation she doesn't understand. a guy will wait to find out more information. A woman will react immediately.
She'll react.
Now imagine if we have a situation where women are weaponized, they have all of these things, and then they react. Man, gang, you will be here right now.
Yeah, but guess what? The tables will turn.
Exactly.
The tables will turn. We'll have more male deaths.
First of all, we
already have more male deaths than females.
Hold on, but the male deaths are not caused by females.
No, what?
All right, so listen. I'm saying we sit here.
Listen,
we sit here and we say women are more emotional because of road rage. Look at the statistics on femicide. Okay, is that not emotions at play?
Yes, it's emotions.
So how do we sit here and say because of road rage, women are more emotional than men?
Not just
but
road
also,
rage.
let's look at this. Let's look at this.
Okay, but it doesn't cost people their lives.
Gentlemen,
this is dangerous.
Gentlemen on the black table.
This is dangerous, but giving them a gun makes it worse.
Gentlemen on the black table.
Give anybody a gun,
gentlemen on the black table.
Anybody.
Gentlemen on the black table.
Sorry, I apologize.
These statistics that you're seeing on the screen could have been avoided if these women were armed. Joining us on the black table.
If they had a taser.
Now, here's the funny. Now, tasers can do so much. There's a lady that's joining us on the black table tonight. She was with us last week as well. Fumi, she has been watching the show. She's been listening to us. Welcome to the black table again, Fumi. It's great to have you. She's joining us via Zoom, by the way. And don't forget, you can also call and make your contributions. So Fumi should be on the Zoom line to join us live on the black table and make her contributions. I would love to know if Fumi is armed or considers arming herself to stay safe in this Nigerian society. Hello, Fumi. Speak to us. You are live via Zoom. This is the black table. All right, as Fumi tries. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Fumi. Go ahead.
No, first of all, I'm not armed.
Good.
Thank God.
I intend to be armed. I thank you for the stats. Thanks to your producer, to the team for talking about this topic. It's a very valid one. But I still don't think women should be armed. And it has nothing to do with the emotional thing. I don't like all those arguments about men and women being more emotional than male. That's, for me, is not the argument. I think it still comes back to the safety of the women. So one is the fact that when the aggressor knows that you have a gun, even in the time when he was not planning to kill you, because he knows that he can be killed now that you have a gun and you have something to defend yourself with, the rates are going to be higher. He's going to ensure that he kills you because he knows that if he doesn't do that, you're going to be killed. For me,
very valid.
I don't think that's a good idea. And then women are harassed. Femicide, is death, but so I will speak of myself. I've been in a bus and someone is touching me inappropriately. I've been in the market and someone has smacked my bum, trader, different things. Now imagine if I have a gun, and it has absolutely nothing to do with being emotional. It's the fact that I'm here and I think I can defend myself. So I will shoot down this guy in the bus. There will be more, there'll be more deaths. I'll shoot down the guy in the bus. I'll shoot down the guy in the. It's for me. It's so great. Able to defend themselves. Maybe pepper spray. Let go into karate classes. But I feel like women are attacked all the time. And I'm giving my own personal example here. Traffic before, because I was driving alone, this guy just came to the window, and I know because there were other cars before me that he didn't stop. And immediately, just as I was just a female alone in the car, he came to me and was trying to. My window was wound up, but not all the way up because the AC wasn't on. And he was trying to use his hand to pull down. It was like threatening me and doing all of that. Thankfully, I had pepper spray, in the car, and that kind of like deterred him. And then there was space, and then I was able to move in traffic. But I still don't think that women should own guns. We should go more. I like what your guests have talked about how we need to reorientate men, talk more about it in religious houses and cultural spaces, because that's like the foundation of the culture, the Nigerian society. In religious spaces, cultural spaces, and then more women should take more defense classes. There was a video I saw recently. I didn't even know this topic. I think like 2 days ago. Maybe it's been a while back, but there was this 80-something-year-old woman that somebody broke into her house. But because she worked out and could defend herself, she had bruises on her face, quite all right. But the guy couldn't do anything to her because she was able to beat the guy. So I think more women should become, that. But you see, by the time it comes to Look at the man that killed his wife, poured hot oil on her.
Right.
And you guys talked about the Stockholm syndrome, trauma bonding with your aggressor. Many women, even if they have the gun, probably even hand the gun over to the aggressor, will not be able to defend themselves.
Okay, so
I think there are other things and policies that we can begin to look at and other ways we can, because generally, even in the world, the UN has talked about the fact that firearms have contributed more to the death of women, to this femicide, in other places like Latin America and all of that. So bringing it to Nigeria will just make it worse, and to get even back into the arms of the men that are trying to protect the women. So I don't think it's a good idea. So we should just look at other policies, cultural, religious, sensitizing, and especially on how
sensitizing the men.
Men, exactly, and even the women that raise. Because guess what? Many people that have killed people, abusers, they have most of their enablers are women, their mothers, their sisters, people who
enablers.
Need a lot of information, not just for the men, for the women. So I think when we work on that, that will help a lot more than having women have firearms.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Fumi.
I'm just going to say something.
All right. Fumi, thank you so much for that contribution. And apologies on what you experienced in the market and in the bus as well, Thank you for that. Thank you so much for your contribution. I'm going to be honest with you. My wife was robbed in Lagos traffic sometime last year. If she had shot that person, I would have supported her 100%. I'm just saying. If she had if she had a gun and had shot that guy, I would have supported her 100%. But I understand where you're coming from. The sensitization will be there. And statistics show that anyone that owns a gun is more likely to get shot.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh my God.
That's so true.
All right. Thank you so much, Fumi, for your contribution. Gentlemen.
That's great. I was going to ask a weird question.
Go ahead, ask a question, because we're going to go straight to the tip
if you were in
that Olamide is going to give us.
If you were in the bus and a man was groping you guys and you had a gun, would you shoot him?
No, I would
No.
Okay, fair.
I wouldn't.
That was random,
so you know what? Let me go around the table, starting with Andre, and let's have some final points here before Olamide gives us the tip at the bar today. What are your thoughts on this? You heard what Fumi said. You heard what some of our callers said as well. From Badagry.
Which is what I was saying, right? Root of the problem. Let's start to raise men, not boys, right? Let's start to raise men by teaching them life lessons on how to treat women, even women too, right? We need to do that. And secondly, females or women need to go for self-defense classes. They should get a taser and a mace. That is allowed. They can do that. But self-defense classes is very necessary. And then we need to do something. The police, they need to go through training on how to spot things like this. All
right, Moyo, before Olamide reads a couple of messages that we got.
There's some things I live by. I keep saying that there can be no peace if there's no justice. So when people commit crimes like this, they have to be brought to justice. It's going to deter other people. What he said is very valid. What he said is very valid, and I agree with that. That should also be part of the process. But there has to be justice. About 95% of domestic violence cases or rape cases that are reported,
people get away with it.
A lot of people get away with it.
So if these things are enforced, more men will be cautious before they do these things.
There has to be consequences for the actions.
All right, Olamide, you have some messages there from our online listeners.
I've waited my entire life to give just a tip. Just a tip, please, baby, just a tip. Okay, but I'm going to say this. At no fury like a woman's gun. There's a reason why I said I don't think women should be weaponized in any way. There are other safer ways to deal with situations like this. I don't think Nigerians should be weaponized. Male or female will go crazy at it.
Psych evaluation.
However, I'm just going to dive into the social media comments here. We have Ashola. Ashola says, yes, please give us guns. Guns.
That's just scary.
Give us guns, especially in this country. We need guns, I beg. Once we are armed, no man can willy us or touch us anyhow. Shola definitely is a lady. Shola, well done. We have Adupe. She says, hey gang, been a while you've hosted. You're such a natural. The guy to your left, Moyo, doesn't look like what he says. It looks like don't come near me. But when you open his mouth, oh my God, Moyo, I don't know what they're talking about, but you're suspect.
Don't judge a book by its cover, girl. Don't judge a book by its cover. Thank you.
Kunle says, whether or not women should be allowed to carry guns is a complex issue with strong arguments on both sides. Advocates for women carry guns. Advocates for women carrying guns emphasize personal safety and self-defense. I think everybody, male or female, have a right to defend themselves, especially given potential physical disparities between men and women. And it goes on saying, conversely, concerns are raised about the potential for increased violence and accidents, particularly in cases of domestic disputes. So really, it's a two-way thing, which is still definitely
the fact that they can be disarmed is another thing.
Exactly.
And the final message we have here says, Adayo says, Olamide looks good at the bar. Fine boy. Barman.
All right.
I'm a seven right now.
I would like to let you know that last message was a fake message generated by AI. We do not do such on the show. That was a fake comment, but we appreciate it. And that has been the Black Table. Olamide, give us the tip, and then we'll have our toast of the week.
I just give the tip.
Okay, you just gave the tip.
Yeah.
So your tip is so pip that
we didn't see it coming.
We didn't feel it. We didn't feel it.
Okay,
All right,
let me give the tip. Okay, I think women generally have a right to protect themselves. But do I think guns should be the solution? No, I don't think guns should be the solution. I think women can be emotional and irrational. And there's nothing wrong with that. God created both genders differently. So it's okay, but I don't think guns should be the solution.
All right.
Well said.
It's a great tip. So I would just like to, our toast for the week, this is the most selfish toast ever.
Let's hear it.
To myself hosting the Black Table tonight.
Oh,
That's
to
right.
gang.
That's
To me,
right.
It's a gang.
hosting the Black Table.
Salute.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, salute.
I
You have to come this way.
now get off my chair.
All right, we're here every Friday night on the Black Table. It's great always being a part of this, having different people on the show. We highly appreciate you. As Olamide says, the darker the night, the brighter the stars. Stay tuned to TVC Entertainment. We'll catch you guys next week.
It's the International Men's Month, so I'm gonna hug you, bro. I'm gonna hug you, bro.